This one tells you when they don't belong there.
Clarion, looking great, and knowing it.
The Olympic Torch Scholarship Fund. An ongoing commitment to this country's young student athletes and coaches. It's a commitment built by you through your purchases of special offerings from Petro-Canada, like this elegant new long-stemmed glass. Use your coupons, and please, help keep the commitment.
Freeze. Freeze. Freeze.
Thursday, Andrew goes on an unusual double date on My Secret Identity. Then, the family rallies around Theo in a heartwarming episode of The Cosby Show. And Whitley discovers that it's a jungle out there on a different world. That's Thursday on CTV.
This is CTV.
CFRN! Right, mateys, find a treasure! Hi, that's the spot!
Share in Safeway's $200,000 Fabulous Flyer Contest. Match your flyer number and you could instantly win a Caribbean vacation. $1,000 of booty from Safeway. Play scratch and match. Collect all 8 game pieces and enter to win the grand prize of $20,000.
You'll find it here in your Safeway flyer. Ha ha! It'll bring out the pirate in ya.
We bring it all together
Fabulous Flyer!
at Safeway.
No, ma'am. No, what we said was we try to have it ready by 5. You want to just give me
This may be a good time to remind you that for upset stomach due to acid indigestion or heartburn, Rolaids is relief.
So, did you come up with anything yet?
Perfect. This coffee's cold.
What about lunch?
This is lunch.
This may be a good time to remind you that for upset stomach due to acid indigestion or heartburn, Rolaids is relief.
In tonight's news, clash on the goods and services tax. Albertans vent their anger as the finance minister tries to sell his plan. Success at the polls. Reform politicians make big gains in Soviet elections. And new research into cystic fibrosis brings medical advancement, but also raises ethical questions.
The CTV National News with Lloyd Robertson.
Good evening. Finance Minister Michael Wilson went up against a tough audience in Edmonton tonight as he tried to sell the goods and services tax in a province that doesn't even have a sales tax. And Wilson did it by debating the GST with one of his strongest foes in the House of Commons, Liberal finance critic Doug Young. While they battled inside the Edmonton Convention Centre, a noisy crowd shouted opposition to the tax from outside. Mark Sixstrom reports.
GST! No way, GST!
Opposition to the GST is a growth industry in Alberta. Thousands of people are signing petitions, and the demonstrations are getting noisier and nastier.
Why are all these people out here never had a chance to go inside there and find out what the devil Wilson had to say?
They're the workers, then tax them. And what about the children?
I'm fed up with trying to carry the load of the country on my back. If they can't tax the corporations, if they would tax the corporations properly, we wouldn't have to carry this load. We can't carry it anymore.
These angry Albertans did not get the chance to speak to Michael Wilson. He was extolling the virtues of the GST in a closed debate inside.
What you say is, let's go back and patch up the existing federal sales tax. That is a totally invisible tax.
But earlier in the day, callers on a radio open line show told the finance minister they want nothing to do with a federal sales tax.
You're servants. You're supposed to serve us, and we're supposed to be your boss.
He assured them the tax would not wreak economic harm, but he could not promise that the GST rate would not go up and up.
There's no guarantees in this world. I don't want to see this rate change, and I'll fight very hard to see that it doesn't change.
Across town, Deputy Prime Minister Don Mazinkowski was being asked by businessmen why the government wasn't doing more to reduce government spending. Mazinkowski said more cuts were coming, and they might be in areas that have so far escaped the axe.
There are many of these programs that have been in place for lots of time, for a long time, and many of them are sacred cows, and we're going to have to examine them.
Mazinkowski didn't specify what sacred cows might be targeted in another round of cutbacks, but they could include agricultural subsidies, social programs, or regional aid. If Albertans were looking for some sign that the government might be softening its approach to taxation and spending, they didn't get any consolation from Mr. Wilson or Mr. Mazinkowski. Mark Sickstrom, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Canadian Labour Congress is going to hold its own referendum. Actually, it's a straw poll on the GST. You'll be able to vote in favor of the tax or for suggested alternatives, such as new taxes on the wealthy, profitable companies, and luxuries. Union members will vote at meetings early in April. The rest of the public will be able to phone in their vote. And now there is news of another tax with the potential to get many Canadians upset. The provinces are looking at enforcing a little-known law to get some more tax money for themselves. Canadians are supposed to pay provincial sales tax on goods they bring home after a trip south of the border. The provinces say it would make up for money lost when Canadians do their shopping in the United States. In the past, the federal government, whose customs officers man border points, has refused to collect the tax. Now, it may have to change its mind. Henry Kowalski reports.
Canadians are supposed to declare what they buy in the U.S. If they bring back more than they're allowed, right there, they pay federal tax and a duty, if there is one. Then they're supposed to go home and, according to the law, voluntarily send the provincial government a check for what they owe in provincial sales tax.
No, I didn't know. Oh, no, I didn't know that.
I guess I got to send something in, do I, or go to jail?
So much for the honor system. BC says it's losing millions a year. And most agree millions more will be lost when even more bargain hunters go south to avoid the GST. BC has already talked to Ottawa about collecting provincial taxes at the border.
Certainly whatever money we get will be a windfall. But the larger issue, I think, is trying to make sure that Canadian retailers are dealt equitably vis-a-vis their customers' options of purchasing south of the border.
Manitoba says it could use new money to make up for what it lost in the federal budget.
You cannot chastise me for looking around at different revenue options. I mean, I have no alternative. How is it that we're going to keep the hospitals and the schools open, particularly given the news